Well, Haley, Simon, Marissa, and Athena are all with us, and this was a devastating tornado that hit your town. It was so big and so powerful. This was one of those where you say you just didn't know if you would make it, right? It sounded like a freight train coming through.
Yes, yes, very much. When we were in the closet taking shelter, you could just feel the pressure and you can just hear the house. It felt like the house was just being ripped apart around you. Our house, the house that we actually took shelter in, did not completely get destroyed. We had a lot of damage. We were moving from another house into that house, and the house we were moving out of was completely gone. We almost stopped on the way when we were going back home to take shelter. We almost stopped at the house, and if we did, we wouldn't be here talking to you today.
Being from that part of the country, I've been caught in 3 of these things in my lifetime. Robin and I shared one, and it makes you feel really insignificant.
Oh yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's like there's a power you just can't control. And Marissa, you were at high school when this hit, correct?
Yes, I was a freshman in high school. I was in my 6th hour and I was taking shelter. And so whenever it happened, afterwards, I didn't have any cell service. So I had heard news that the elementary school had been hit and my neighborhood had been hit, but I didn't know if any of my family had made it for many, many hours.
Haley, you were in the same school as your brother Xavier, right?
Yeah, I was actually in the same hallway as him. We were in the same hallway in like a different building from the main building.
Yeah. You actually sat in your teacher's lap at the time, right?
Yeah.
But you got sucked away from her.
Yeah, the wind was so strong, it just took me out of her arms.
Yeah, and threw you like 10 yards away. And Robin's niece, Brandy, lived right in Moore, Oklahoma, and her husband was a firefighter. And her house, I don't think, was very far from your house that got wiped out, and it was just completely gone, devastated.
Yes.
And you thought she was in it at the time, right?
Right. In fact, she lived in the neighborhood very close to the elementary school, and the firehouse was right at the end of her block, and she had to just run to the firehouse for protection. And it turned out that had she even taken the time to get her purse and her car keys and drive down there, she would not have made it. So just taking off and running, that's how little warning she had. She just ran to the end of the block to the firehouse. That's what saved her life. And then it completely destroyed their home.
Yeah, and not knowing what happens with family members is really traumatic, right? How long was it before you were able to pull Xavier out of the rubble?
So when we got to the back, I think they had just pulled him out. We didn't know. I was going to help dig when I heard him holler at me. So I think they were under there for 45 minutes to an hour almost.
Yeah, and this is him being pulled out, right? And you can see on his back that gash. You heard Xavier say "Dad" and recognized his voice.
Recognized it right away.
Yeah, which had to be a music to your ears at the time. So now, both Simon and Athena say that Xavier survived, but he was never the same after that, that it really changed him, that there was a tremendous shift in his personality.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.